I'm a bit
It's okay.
sleepy, one can say. Sorry for that. So let's let's take this away. Okay, so sorry for that. So today we are going to see how we can merge branches which involve resolving conflicts. And for that, I have a little example, and you're welcome to follow along if you wish. So what I'm going to do is first create a repository, which I will call merge test. I'm going to initialize it as a Git repository after moving into it, of course, and I will create a file with some initial content, stage it, and commit that file. So let's do just that. So first, one initial commit on a branch. And I slightly changed this slide, so if you might need to reload your browser in case you are having the same window from yesterday. So again, I am just editing. Well, I added some content, initial content to my file txt. I'm staging it with git add, and I'm just doing a very first commit. Okay, so what do we have up to now? I have one commit on the master branch. What I will do in the following is to create another branch and switch to the branch. And I can do that with this command git checkout with the option -b. So which creates the branch and switches to it. And I create this branch feature, which I call feature 1. And I'm going to make a change to the file, to my file txt, and stage and commit these changes. So let's just do that. So first, create and switch to the branch. So if I do git branch here, which will show me all branches and the branch I am on. So these asterisk points to the branch I am on. So I am on feature 1. So on that branch, I will change the content of this file. I do that by adding this line to my file txt. And using git commit with the option -a, I can stage as I am preparing for the commit. So now I have a new commit on the branch feature 1. So let's do git graph again and see how it looks like. So the master branch is behind with one commit. Feature 1 has moved forward as I have now changed the file and committed these changes. I will now switch back to the master branch. So I do that either via git checkout master, or I can do git switch master. And let's check again which branch we are on. So now we are on the master branch. I am going to edit the same file. And now actually, before I do that, let's see how my file looks like at this stage. So it just has the initial content, sorry, that we had in the first commit. But now I'm going to add another line to my file txt. And the way it's going to look like is my file txt. I can do git status just to see what the status of my repository is. So I do have one modified file. Now I'm going to stage and commit this, and I can do it either, well, with this command, or of course I could have just done git add my file and git commit with a message, a commit message, and then I'll call it start work on a cool feature. So let's see what the git graph gives us now. So I have I have two branches. Now the head is pointing to this tip of the master branch. And I have, well, what I have done is changes in my file txt on this second line, on the second line of the file for both the master branch and feature one. And now we are going to actually attempt to merge these two branches. So, Lucas, please.
When you did the first echo,
Mm-hmm.
how could you write in the file if you didn't have it on the branch that you created? I thought first you have
Echo,
to create the file and then
yeah,
you could do the echo, but the
sure.
echo
I
you
will
need to write in
explain.
the file, right?
So I can try to scroll up here. So let's see. I will explain what echo actually does. So when I use echo with um, some content, some characters in the quotes, and then I use this forwarding sign to a given file. If I only it's the redirect sign. So if I only use one of them, what it does is that it's going to create a file if it doesn't exist. If it does exist, it's just going to eliminate all content, so it's going to be an empty file, and then it will add to it the content that I specify in the quotes. In this case, it's this one, this initial content. So what it means that my file txt will only have one line, and that's the one I specify with echo. Now, if I have two redirects, then if I have two redirects, if the file already has some content, then it will just add to the end of it. So then it will add this particular content at the end of the file. So now I will have two lines in my file txt. The first line coming from, well, the very first echo. Is this clear now?
Yeah, thanks.
Of course, I mean, you could, in principle, you could edit the file. So you just edit the file with an initial line, which is initial content, and then open the file again and add another line. And the reason I use echo because is then I can just do it as a one-liner in the command line, and then it's easier for you to copy paste. Otherwise, I'd have to show a graph, and then it's a figure, and then it's just takes more space. But the purpose is to have one initial commit with some content in the file, and then edit different lines in the two branches. Okay, so what are now the contents of the file in the two branches? I can use git diff and show the difference between the file in the two branches. And the way I use git diff then is I specify the hashes for the two commits. So let's take the tip of the master branch and feature one. And then if I only want to look a particular file, then I need to add this double dash file followed by the name of the file. This is optional if I want to show all the differences between these two branches. But now I just want to show you that you can use it with this argument as well. Okay, so then what git diff gives me is so a black line, which well just means that this line is common to my file txt in both the master and feature branch. And when I say master and feature branch, I mean the tip of those branches. So this this line is common for both of them. Now the head the head let's see. it actually swapped this for some reason. So this additional line, yes, this additional line, feature one is a good implementation, is present only in the feature one branch, while this one is only present in the master branch. And actually, well, I find it a bit tricky to look at the difference. So another option to check the contents of this file is to use the git show command, and you can use git show with a reference for a hash. So let's and that can also be a branch reference. So I'm going to actually write master here. And if I add two dots and the path or the name of the file, then it's going to show me the version of the file in that particular commit. In this case, master, well, the tip of the master branch. So git show should show me actually the state of my file txt on master. And I see that I have two lines, initial content and working on a really cool feature. Now I want to see the content of this same file on the tip of the other branch, feature one. And then I see that the difference is this second line, feature one is a good implementation. So either you use git diff or you use git show together with a reference and a path, or in other words, a file name. It's either way, whatever you prefer. The point here is that I have two changes to this file, and they are both on the same line. Yes, Lucas.
Is there any meaning in the colors? Like the red one is because you use the first address of the master, and the green is because you use the address of the other branch, or the colors mean another thing in this case?
Yes, the color. So the color is red on my terminal, and that can be changed, but on my terminal it's red. If there is a minus in front, that means that this is something missing. And the plus is for something which is added. And missing, in this case, it means that in branch or in commit C66 compared to commit 75, there is this line missing. And what is an addition is this other line, which has a plus in before, and it has the color red. So minus and plus will always be there. The colors will be the same as a default, but are subject to change.
I think in GitHub, or maybe like in some softwares, you can see side by side what's the difference and kind of highlight. Is it possible to do the same thing on the Git terminal?
So you can use different tools on different operating systems. Yeah, so it really depends on your operating system. But yes, that is possible. And I think it is very convenient to do that, especially if you have two large files with very different content, which you want to check the difference for. So yes, it is possible. And I will bring up a link to these tools later today. Please remind me. But I don't have it on the top of my head. I think it's in this tool, but I'm not entirely sure. So, but I will bring it up. Okay. So let's move on. So now I'm going to try to merge feature one onto the master branch. And I will first make sure that I am on the master one. So git branch, yes, indeed, I'm on master. So I do this again with git merge and the name of the branch that I want to merge into master. And I get a conflict. And so the git do this merge on its own. So what it's prompting me to is to fix these conflicts and then commit the result. And the reason for this conflict is that, so let's just do git status. No, not git status. First, the reason for this conflict is simply because I have changed the same line in both branches. So that's why actually intentionally I have edited the file that way. So how can we deal with this? So let's do a git status and see what git tells us. So I have I had a clean working directory before I attempted to do the merge. Now, as Git tried to merge these two branches, what it did is actually modify the file txt, where it tried to incorporate the changes from both branches. And if we look into it, so let's open it with an editor. I see that it also introduced some delimiters. So there is some initial content which was the same in both branches, but then it tells me that head, which is the master branch, had this content working on a really cool feature, while the second one had a different content, which is conflicting with this one. And that content is feature one is a good implementation. So what I have to do is, there are several solutions. So if I don't know how I can resolve this conflict, let's say there are many different files that have conflicts, and working in a group, and it's not certain which features should take, or which changes should take precedence, then I may wish to abort this merge. And I can do this using git merge with, sorry, there should be two dashes here. It shows differently in bold. So two dashes, dash, abort. And this is going to just go back to the state of the repository before I attempted the merge, which is these two different branches. Now, if I do want to attempt to resolve the conflict, one of the ways is to actually edit the file myself. So then first of all, I will have to remove all these delimiters that were introduced, and I can choose, okay, what do I want to keep from these two different branches, and I can keep them. I can keep both of them as they are, or I can actually change the file. Now I have modified the file as I consider it's best, and I do have to stage it. And now I can attempt the merge again. And the way to do that is to type git merge -- continue. And I do not have to specify the branch name again, because Git knows that I have attempted the merge, and it's going to continue to do that, same merge command that I used, as I have the option -- continue. So then I get a commit message, a prompt to commit message. By default, it's merge branch and the name of the branch I want to merge. And I'm happy with this message, so I am going to, well, actually I could add something saying that both features are good to keep, so that I know this for later. Okay, now let's look at Git graph again. So now I do have a new commit, which is a child commit of the ones on the feature and the master branch. So the conflict has been resolved. The merge commit has been done. So I already mentioned some of these things. I want definitely it's possible to work with different branches and merge them. Okay. So let's assume that you actually don't know how to that you have merged and you realize that it was not a good solution for the merge. Then you can always go back to the commit before the merge by using this git reset hard command. Okay, rebasing. It's another way of merging commits. Sorry, yes, it's another way of merging commits. So let's assume that we have two branches. Head is pointing to this bug fix branch, and then I also have a master branch which has several commits. Now, if I do a rebasing of the branch bug fix onto the master branch, what Git is going to do is to take these additional, these commits that I have on the bug fix branch and take those, sorry, the changes to those commits and add them as commits onto the master branch. Now, as a result of this, what we'll have is a nice linear flow of the main branch, in this case, master, and this is what is, well, it's considered nice from the point of view to have a linear flow. But the one con is that it changes the commit. So it will not have a certain hash as it had before. It's going to be a new hash because now those commits have been moved. But that doesn't matter unless you have shared your repository with other persons. And it's good to do maybe, well, if you're working on two different features and you want to incorporate changes into one, and then maybe commit it to a main branch. So this is one way of doing merging. I have one branch which is the master branch.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so cherry picking is a way of picking changes from a certain commit and incorporate them onto another branch, or you can, yes, onto another branch. So let's assume that we have, for example, a situation with two branches. So we have some initial line of work that was only carried out on the master branch, and then we branched out into two. So we added this feature branch with several commits. And let's assume now that in this commit Y, we have added a very important feature that we want to incorporate into the master branch. But let's assume that, well, we actually do not want these all commits to be either rebased into master or merged into master. We only want the changes from this particular commit Y. And the way we can do that is using cherry pick followed by the hash of the commit that we are interested in. So it would be, in this case, git cherry pick and the hash of the commit. And before we do the cherry pick, we actually need to be on the branch where we want to apply the commit. So if I want to add changes introduced by the commit Y onto the master branch, then I first need to check out on master and then do cherry pick with the hash of the commit. So after that, I'm going to be in this situation that I have, well, initial commits, and then the feature branch is going to be the same. So in contradiction to rebase, it does not do anything to this branch from which I have picked up the commit. So that stays where it was. But what happens is that so those changes that were in commit Y will be applied to the top of the master branch. So I will have a new commit on the master branch. Again, the commit that I have cherry-picked, it stays on the branch that was initially. It's just I have one additional commit on the master branch in this case. Okay, so so now it would have been time for exercises, but I wonder if maybe we shouldn't do them tomorrow. What do you say, Rita?